To 1964. Bruce Lee stands in front of a room full of martial arts masters in Oakland, California. They've issued him an ultimatum. Stop teaching kung fu to white people or fight our champion. If you lose, you close your school forever. Bruce accepts. The fight lasts 3 minutes. He wins. But he's not happy. He expected to finish in seconds. He realizes something that will change martial arts forever. Traditional styles are broken, limited, outdated. That realization leads Bruce to create something that doesn't exist. A philosophy of fighting with no style, no limits, no boundaries. He calls it Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. But here's what most people miss. Bruce Lee wasn't just a fighter. He was a philosopher who happened to use his body as the medium. He took 3,000 years of Eastern wisdom and made it accessible to the West through action, not words. Be water, my friend. That's not fight advice. That's Taoist philosophy about adapting to life's obstacles. But Bruce made millions understand it by demonstrating it with his fists. The real question is, how did a martial artist become one of the most influential philosophers of the 20th century? How did he bridge East and West in ways that scholars couldn't? How did he change not just how people fight, but how they think about life itself? This is that story. November 27, 1940, San Francisco. Bruce Lee is born during the Year of the Dragon, in the Hour of the Dragon. His parents are Chinese opera performers. Bruce grows up in Hong Kong, a British colony where being Chinese means being second class. Young Bruce sees the signs. No dogs or Chinese allowed in public parks. He watches white colonizers treat Chinese people like servants in their own city. This plants rage in him that will fuel everything he does. At 13, Bruce starts studying Wing Chun under Master Yip Man. But Bruce is a terrible traditional student. He constantly asks, why? Why do we stand this way? Why do we punch like that? What if there's a better method? Traditional martial arts is built on unquestioning obedience. You learn forms exactly as taught. You don't innovate. You don't question masters. You repeat movements for years before understanding them. Bruce hates this. He's reading philosophy. Taoism, Buddhism, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts. He's questioning everything. Tradition, authority, fixed beliefs. He sees martial arts not as sacred ritual, but as human movement that can be improved through understanding principles, not memorizing forms. This gets him in trouble. Other students complain he's disrespectful. Some refuse to train with him because he's part German on his mother's side, not pure Chinese. Bruce experiences racism from his own culture. After a serious street fight, Bruce's parents send him to America. He's 18, barely speaks English, has $100. He settles in Seattle, works as a dishwasher, finishes high school, enrolls at University of Washington to study philosophy. Here's where Bruce's revolution truly begins. He's studying Western philosophy, Plato, Descartes, Hegel. He's comparing it with Eastern philosophy, Lao Tzu, Chuang Tzu, Zen Buddhism. He's synthesizing ideas from both traditions. At the same time, he's teaching martial arts. And he does something radical that breaks 3,000 years of Chinese tradition. He teaches non-Chinese students, white people, black people, anyone who wants to learn. Traditional Chinese kung fu masters refuse to teach outsiders. It's an absolute rule. Knowledge stays within the Chinese community, especially not to white people who colonized China. But Bruce doesn't care about these rules. He believes knowledge should be shared, that artificial barriers based on race are stupid, that the best students should learn regardless of ethnicity. The traditional Chinese martial arts community is furious. They see Bruce as a traitor. They issue the Oakland Challenge in 1964, fight our champion or stop teaching non-Chinese. Bruce wins the fight, but the experience transforms him. He realizes he wasted energy, got tired, used inefficient techniques. Traditional Wing Chun, which he devoted years to mastering, has limitations. This is Bruce's breakthrough moment. He starts questioning everything he learned. If Wing Chun isn't perfect, what about other martial arts? What if you took the best from every style and discarded the rest? What if you built a fighting system based on what actually works rather than tradition? This is heresy. Every martial art claims to be complete and superior. Mixing styles is considered disrespectful, impossible, foolish. Bruce doesn't care. He starts training in boxing, fencing, judo, karate, wrestling. He studies kinesiology, physics, biomechanics. He reads books on philosophy, psychology, strategy. He creates Jeet Kune Do, but it's not a martial art. It's an anti-martial art, a philosophy of constant questioning, adaptation, personal expression. His famous quote captures it: absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, add what is specifically your own. Think about how radical this is. For 3,000 years, martial arts was about preserving tradition exactly as taught. Bruce says, tradition for tradition's sake is worthless. Only effectiveness matters. Be like water, formless, adaptable, flowing around obstacles rather than breaking against them. This isn't just fight philosophy, it's life philosophy. Bruce is teaching Taoism through combat. The idea of Wu Wei, effortless action, flowing with nature rather than forcing. The concept of yin and yang, opposing forces in harmony. The principle of constant change being the only constant. But he's not teaching it through lectures or meditation. He's demonstrating it with his body, making abstract philosophy tangible, visible, undeniable. 1966. Bruce gets a role in the Green Hornet TV series playing Kato, the sidekick. It's not the lead, but Bruce makes Kato unforgettable. His fight scenes are unlike anything American TV has shown. Fast, precise, powerful. But Bruce is frustrated. He's the most skilled martial artist in Hollywood, yet he can't get a leading role. Hollywood tells him the same thing repeatedly. American audiences won't accept an Asian leading man. This is 1960s America. Asian men are portrayed as asexual, weak, submissive, comic relief. Charlie Chan speaking broken English, Mickey Rooney and Yellowface in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Fu Manchu as the evil Oriental villain. Hollywood has never shown an Asian man as strong, sexual, heroic, powerful. The very idea seems impossible to executives. Bruce pitches a TV show, The Warrior, a kung fu master in the Old West, a dignified, skilled Asian hero. Executives love the concept. Bruce demonstrates his martial arts. They're blown away. Then they cast David Carradine, a white actor with zero martial arts training, to play the Chinese martial artist. The show becomes kung fu. It's a massive hit, makes Carradine a star. Bruce gets nothing. This betrayal could have destroyed Bruce. Instead, it fuels him. If Hollywood won't give him opportunities, he'll create them himself. Bruce returns to Hong Kong and makes The Big Boss, a simple revenge story. But Bruce choreographs fights unlike anything Hong Kong cinema has shown. The film shatters every box office record in Hong Kong history. Immediately, he makes Fist of Fury. In one iconic scene, Bruce's character confronts a sign saying, "No dogs in Chinese allowed." The same racist signs Bruce saw as a child. He destroys the sign with a flying kick. Chinese audiences erupt. They've never seen an Asian hero dominate like this. Never seen Asian masculinity portrayed as powerful, dangerous, unstoppable. Bruce is showing them something they've never seen, themselves as heroes. Fist of Fury breaks the records the Big Boss just set. Now Hollywood is calling. Warner Brothers offers a deal. Enter the Dragon. Co-production with Hong Kong. International distribution. Everything Bruce fought for. Bruce pours everything into it. Every fight scene is innovation. The famous mirror room fight. The nunchaku scene that makes nunchucks iconic. Philosophical dialogue about martial arts as self-knowledge. Before filming ends, Bruce knows this is his masterpiece. His chance to show the world what he's been building toward. Martial arts as art, as philosophy, as expression of human potential. July 20th, 1973. 6 days before Enter the Dragon premieres, Bruce dies mysteriously in Hong Kong. He's 32 years old. The official cause is cerebral edema, brain swelling. Theories multiply: allergic reaction, overwork, assassination, ancient death touch curse. The truth is probably simpler, but tragic. Bruce pushed his body beyond limits, removed his sweat glands for aesthetics, used electrical muscle stimulators excessively, took cortisone for back pain. His body gave out. Enter the Dragon premieres 6 days after his death. It becomes the highest-grossing martial arts film in history, makes $350 million worldwide. Bruce Lee becomes the biggest posthumous star in film history. But here's what makes Bruce's impact revolutionary. He didn't just make successful movies. He changed what millions of people believed was possible. Before Bruce Lee, Western audiences thought Asian men were weak. Bruce made them undeniable. Before Bruce, martial arts was exotic curiosity. Bruce made it mainstream. Before Bruce, Eastern philosophy was academic and inaccessible. Bruce made it visceral and real. Be water, my friend. That clip from a 1971 interview goes viral decades later. Millions watch Bruce explain Taoist philosophy using water as metaphor. He's teaching Wu Wei, the Taoist concept of effortless action, but in language anyone can understand. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. That's not fight advice, that's philosophy about adapting to circumstances, not resisting reality, flowing around obstacles. It's 2,500-year-old Taoism explained in 30 seconds that changes how people think about problems, careers, relationships, life. Bruce Lee has been dead for 50-plus years, but his influence grows stronger every year. And it's not just about martial arts, it's about how he changed human consciousness. First, Bruce created modern mixed martial arts decades before UFC existed. His philosophy of absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, is exactly what MMA fighters do. Train boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, whatever works. Don't limit yourself to one style. Every UFC champion credits Bruce as inspiration. Dana White calls him the father of MMA. The entire sport exists because Bruce proved mixing martial arts creates better fighters than rigid tradition. Second, Bruce introduced Eastern philosophy to Western masses in ways scholars couldn't. Universities taught Taoism and Buddhism through texts. Bruce taught it through action. He made abstract concepts tangible. Millions of people learned about Taoist philosophy, Zen Buddhism, the concept of flow states, not from books, but from watching Bruce move. His physical expression of philosophy reached people who would never read Lao Tzu. Third, Bruce revolutionized physical fitness. He was obsessed with functional strength over appearance, speed and explosiveness over size, core strength, flexibility. He developed training methods decades ahead of his time. Modern athletic training uses principles Bruce pioneered: plyometrics, isometrics, varied intensity training, mental visualization. Athletes across all sports study Bruce's training philosophy. Fourth, Bruce changed business and entrepreneurship philosophy. Be water became a mantra in Silicon Valley. The idea of adaptability over rigid planning, pivoting rather than breaking, flowing around obstacles rather than fighting them directly. Tech founders quote Bruce constantly. His philosophy of constant adaptation, of discarding what doesn't work, of personal expression over tradition, that's startup culture. That's innovation culture. Fifth, Bruce gave Asian representation to global culture. Before Bruce, Asian men were invisible as masculine, powerful, desirable. Bruce made Asian masculinity undeniable. Every Asian actor who followed, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, exists because Bruce kicked the door open. Marvel's Shang-Chi, Asian superhero movies, that's Bruce's legacy. He proved Asian heroes could carry blockbuster films. Sixth, Bruce influenced every fighting game ever made. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, every fighting game has a Bruce Lee-inspired character. His yellow tracksuit from Game of Death is iconic. His fighting style, his philosophy, his speed, replicated endlessly. Seventh, Bruce changed film choreography forever. Hong Kong action cinema, Hollywood martial arts films, The Matrix, Kill Bill, everything traces back to Bruce. The way fights are filmed, choreographed, performed, he set the template. Eighth, Bruce's personal philosophy of self-actualization influences millions. He wrote extensively in journals about knowing yourself, transcending limitations, constant self-improvement. His writings read like a combination of philosophy text and training manual. His famous quote, "I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you're not in this world to live up to mine." That declaration of independence from others' judgments resonates across generations. He wrote, "The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering." Im. At 32, Bruce accomplished that completely. Ninth, Bruce proved you don't need permission to be great. Hollywood rejected him. The traditional martial arts world rejected him. He created his own path anyway. He became the biggest star in the world by refusing to accept limitations. This message resonates powerfully. Gatekeepers don't determine your potential. Society's expectations don't define your limits. You create your own way. 10th, Bruce changed how people think about human potential. He was 135 pounds but moved with such explosive power that he redefined what strength means. Not size, but speed, technique, precision. He famously said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." That's about mastery through deliberate practice, a concept that becomes central to skill development theory. Bruce's philosophy influences psychology, education, sports science. The idea of deliberate practice, of flow states, of mind-body connection, Bruce demonstrated all of it. Today, Bruce Lee's image is everywhere. Murals, posters, t-shirts, tattoos. His films play continuously somewhere in the world. His interviews get millions of views on YouTube. New generations discover him and have their minds blown. Why? Because Bruce represented something timeless. The individual who refuses to accept limitations, who questions everything, who creates his own path, who turns obstacles into opportunities. He was a Chinese man in racist America who made the world respect him. He was a martial artist who became a philosopher. He was a philosopher who changed global culture. He was a man who died at 32 but achieved immortality. His daughter Shannon Lee continues his legacy through the Bruce Lee Foundation, teaching his philosophy to new generations. Not just martial arts, but life philosophy. Self-knowledge, constant growth, adaptation, personal expression. Bruce's notebooks and writings have been published. Thousands of pages of thoughts on training, philosophy, consciousness. They reveal a mind constantly questioning, constantly evolving, never satisfied. In them, Bruce wrote, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." That focus, that dedication to constant improvement, that refusal to accept mediocrity, that's what made Bruce extraordinary. So how did Bruce Lee change the world? He created modern mixed martial arts by proving that effectiveness matters more than tradition, that mixing styles creates better fighters than rigid loyalty to one system. He introduced Eastern philosophy to Western masses through action, making Taoism, Buddhism, and concepts of flow accessible to millions who would never read philosophy books. He shattered racial barriers in Hollywood and gave Asian men representation as powerful, masculine, heroic. He proved that Asian actors could be global superstars. He revolutionized physical training, film choreography, and how we think about human potential. He showed that size doesn't determine strength, that speed and technique can overcome brute force. Most importantly, Bruce weaponized Eastern wisdom. He took 3,000 years of philosophy and made it tangible, demonstrable, undeniable through his body and his art. Be water. Two words that contain an entire philosophy of adaptation, resilience, and flowing with life rather than breaking against it. Millions live by those words without ever studying Taoism because Bruce made the philosophy visible. Bruce Lee didn't just change martial arts or movies. He changed consciousness. He showed that ancient wisdom and modern expression can combine powerfully, that East and West can synthesize into something greater, that one person with enough focus and refusal to accept limitations can change how billions of people think. He died at 32, but his philosophy lives forever. That's how a martial artist becomes immortal. That's how Bruce Lee changed the world.